Hey, it's Sean Campbell, the Sean Campbell Show, and I have been on a health kick these last 6, 7 weeks or so, and I feel unbelievable. So it's not that I haven't been, through this before, but now it's like I've taken it to a new level. So I want to share the 5 biggest reasons why you need to pay more attention to your health as an entrepreneur.
This is the Sean Campbell Show, a podcast for the aspiring and hungry entrepreneur.
So the last 6 weeks have been pretty good for me so far this year. I mean, this is the first 5 weeks of the year. I've lost 12 pounds, and this is the lightest I've been probably in 3 or 4 years. About 4 or 5 years ago, I was actually running almost every day, and I was down to about 180 pounds, and I'm still about 31 pounds heavier today, but I only want to lose a little bit more. I don't want to get that thin. I look kind of raily if you're watching this on video, but I want to get down to about 205. I'm 6'1", so that'll be a nice little weight to be at, but the thing is, it's like I really kind of lost a lot of the benefits of how I felt, 4 or 5 years ago. And once you kind of let yourself go for that long, you really kind of don't realize just how bloated and how lethargic you feel until you're kind of back into the game, so to speak, and taking care of your health. Now, I'm not a dietitian, I'm not a personal trainer, I'm not anything like that, so I'm not going to give you like a plan, so to speak. I would suggest maybe to check out, I believe it's 75 Hard by Andy Frisella, and maybe go to that program, or at least utilize, maybe customize a program like that, because it's really adhering to like a set program for 75 days, and it gives you some really stringent guidelines of what to do. In fact, I kind of customized that for myself, and I've not drinking alcohol for a few days, which that's a whole nother video and podcast. But long story short, I kind of grew up in Germany, where beer is like the national, it's like water, right? But so going 75 days, like physically it's not going to be hard, but maybe like hanging out with clients and doing the social thing with clients, that's going to be kind of the tricky part of it. So, but anyway, let's go back into like what I found have been the 5 most important things for why an entrepreneur needs to pay special attention to your health. The biggest reason has to be the mental focus. I mean, it's only been 5 weeks, but I'd have to say that I probably am more focused and more just driven now than I probably have been in years. And I've accomplished a lot. I've done a lot. I've grown my business. I've grown my podcast, my YouTube channel. I've done a lot of stuff. But now I'm even more driven and more focused than I've ever been. And taking care of the physical part of it has really helped me sleep better, and just wake up quicker, if that sounds right, if that makes sense to you. But the focus, just the ability to kind of keep my focus and keep on task for longer has been one of the biggest advantages of this recent health kick. Now, admittedly, I'm more of the analytical type. I'm more of the X's and O's, the numbers type, data-driven. And admittedly, the creative side of what I do, if you don't know what I do, I'm in social media marketing. I assist small businesses from coast to coast with their social media. A little plug-in for myself. I did a plug-in last video, and I did apologize, and I'm not going to apologize for this one either. But the creative aspect of it, the creativeness of my ads is a lot more outside the box than what it used to be. I did an ad for a client recently, a Valentine's ad that was really, really good. Got some good response, but I don't think my client's wife appreciated it that much. But it was something, an ad that wouldn't have come, it's a long story, but I would not have come up with that ad a year ago. It was really, really good, by the way, but the creative aspect of it. So that's the second thing. It's like, especially if you're very analytical like I am, being the other side of things, the creativeness, has really kind of taken off a lot recently. The third big advantage has to be obviously more energy. I'm not only able to kind of get up and get at it, in the mornings a lot quicker. In fact, I wake up a little after 5 o'clock and I'm up, doing, depending on what day of the week, I'm doing either about a mile and a half to a 4 mile jog every, morning. Well, I take one rest day because I'm old every week. I take one. Back in the day, I never took rest days. I thought they were for old people. And now that I am old, I take a rest day one time a week. It gets to you, especially after a couple days of doing like either a 3 or 4 mile jog. Today's my rest day, by the way. That's why I'm so passionate about it today. But yeah, more energy. You get up with more energy throughout the day. I'm sleeping deeper, but not as much, except for the days that I have my back-to-back long jog days. Then I sleep for about 8 or 9 hours, which is a lot for me. It's a lot. But more energy quicker and more energy throughout the whole day. So those first three are kind of the obvious ones. This third one, once you get up and you accomplish something, I like to have the mentality that I want to accomplish more by 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning than 99% of the people out there will in the whole day. And especially on the weekends, that includes getting in, a 4 mile jog. That includes getting in some work. That includes getting in some of the things that I need to take care of for the weekend. I have some apps that follows my steps and how many calories that I burn, and how much work that I accomplish. All that's I keep track of every day. So that's kind of my mantra, so to speak, that I want to accomplish more by 10 o'clock than 99% of the people out there will throughout the rest of the day. I want to burn more calories. I want to run more. I want to accomplish more work. I want to be in my office before the other people that co-office in this building get to. And I accomplish that. And it's those little wins. That's the point of this little segment. It's the little wins that add up, and winning, those little wins become contagious. Once you've, reached 10 o'clock and you look at how much you've done in those 5 hours, how much you've accomplished, what you did, that's more than 99% of the people out there will. There's some people that just barely got out of bed at 8 or 9, 10 o'clock. There's some people that are just lethargic. There's most people, and a lot of these people could be your competitors if you think about it. People that call themselves entrepreneurs or small business owners, but you're crushing it. You're killing them. So you gotta kind of play the game within the game between your inside your mind, and the winning aspect has to be contagious. List what you're going to win today, what you're accomplished today. On the other side of this camera, I don't have a to-do list for the day. I have an accomplished list for today. It's those little wins that you have throughout the day. And what's funny is that, comparatively speaking, that to-do list I used to have a few months ago versus the accomplished list that I have today was a lot shorter than what I do today. So the little wins add up. It becomes contagious. Once you've lost a few pounds, you want more, and you got to enjoy the process and not the results so much. But those wins that you have throughout the day become contagious, and they kind of roll over, and it's really a dynamic snowball type of effect. And really the biggest advantage of really kind of keeping track of your health, and really paying attention to what you're eating and getting some exercise in every day for an entrepreneur, getting those steps in, and it doesn't need to be much. What I did is I downloaded the Noom app to kind of track my calories. I'm very adamant about tracking everything that I consume throughout the day, so it gives me like a reserve balance of calories. You got to be at that caloric deficit. I use my Fitbit app to kind of keep track of how many calories I'm actually burning. I have another app to kind of keep track of my running, And yeah, I mean, they kind of share some information between the two of them. I have a smart scale, so it not only gives me my weight, but my body fat, my BMI, my muscle mass, etc. And I kind of combine or use data from each one of those to really give me an idea of where I'm at throughout the day. And there's some like debate of whether you should weigh yourself every day or once a week or whatever it is. I like to kind of keep track of what I'm doing every single day. So again, it goes back to the wins, my previous, advantage. And all this adds up, and what I'm finding is the biggest advantage of all this is that I now believe that I can accomplish more. I've challenged myself to do more. Just my goals, my New Year's resolutions, quote unquote, what I set out to do this year have already kind of exponentially creeped up and are more just 5 weeks ago from where they were. There's more on my list and more that I'm accomplishing, so there's more confidence in what I can do. Not only from the physical aspect, my goal for this year was to lose 18 pounds. And I told myself by June 1st, I'll lose 18 pounds. That's 3 pounds a week. Well, I'm way, ahead of that curve. So now I want to accomplish that by the end of March, which I'm sure I will. But it also rolled over my business aspect. There's a huge project that I wanted to, debut this year or launch this year. But that has actually turned into 2 or 3 more projects. So the more that I'm accomplishing, the more that I'm doing, the more I believe I can, and the more I'm succeeding in doing so. And again, it kind of like it just goes back to the wins, the little things you're accomplishing every day. It gives you more confidence. And your mindset probably is as strong as what you feel physically. Your mindset, you're clear, you're just like, I could do this, I could accomplish this, this is good, and it's all a trickle down effect. It's all just building upon the momentum, all from just taking care of yourself physically, how it rolls over to an emotional strength, a mindset strength, psychological strength. You just feel more energy. You just feel like, honestly, I just turned 50 about 5 weeks ago, and I'm more focused, more driven, and more determined to accomplish more than I ever have. And I've never felt this way. I've always been kind of a very positive person, but I've never been at this level. But it's all the foundation, the base is taking care of myself physically first, and it's rolled over into what I'm accomplishing as a business owner and entrepreneur. So those are my 5 things, your mental focus, your creativity, your just more energy, the little wins, and just the confidence that you could take on a lot more, put a lot more on your plate. On the business plate, not your dinner plate. Okay, so remember, if you want to do what you want to do, you got to do what you got to do. Thanks for tuning in to Sean Campbell Show. You can listen to the podcast. If you're watching this on video, you can listen to this podcast on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor, and a few more other podcast platforms. And catch my YouTube channel if you're listening to this audio. Watch this on YouTube at the Sean Campbell Show. Really appreciate it. And until next time.
Thank you for listening to The Sean Campbell Show. Follow us on Instagram at The Sean Campbell Show.